The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on August 1st, 2023.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by Mokulele Airlines. Now here's your host, Pam Tubop. Good morning, Pam.
How are you this morning? Thank you for all that you did to put this show on each week. Of course, it's so important to us every week, and it's particularly important to us in times like these. This morning, folks, I just wanted to take a few minutes to share a little bit about what's happening and to remind people to continue to look for valid sources. The county is constantly posting at mauicounty.gov on the latest news, and they're doing briefings, often with our Governor Josh Green. So you'll hear Mayor Bisson sharing stories and the team on the ground, getting updates with the governor. But there's so many things happening and a lot of coordination right now. I think the first thing I really want to put out there and encourage everybody to share is our county team is working hard to try and get people back to Lahaina to keep the lines open and the roads open. But we have a lot of people who aren't following the rules. And so they tried to issue a placard system so that those who really needed to get through can get through. And others are just wanting to get out there to look and see, take photographs. We're hearing a number of them are from the press. And I want everybody who is doing that to understand the harm you're creating in our community right now. If you don't live on that side, and you don't need to make critical deliveries to those who do live in that side, who need the goods and services that we are trying to get out on that side. You're hampering others from doing the work that they're trying to do. You're making the situation far more difficult and actually literally hurting our community, delaying services. It's a huge problem. So I want to ask all those who are doing that, if you're listening to this radio show, please stop. Please follow the rules. Please understand that our community is in crisis. And all of our responders are working really hard to get needed supplies and food and fuel and insurance companies out there that way so they can be there on site to help those file insurance claims. We need to do this orderly and respectfully, and this is not time for trying to get the best shots of the disaster. Tell the best story. Start posting things on social media. This is a time for Maui to come together and help each other out. And we really need those who are hampering our progress to try and reopen the area so families can get back. Businesses can assess what's going on with their business. We can file the claims and start moving forward. We need others to get out of that way. And I encourage them to do that, and I ask you as our community to ask them to stop as well. Gary asked me this before we came on the show, how we're doing. And I just want to say that the outpouring of love in our community and help and responses, you see it every day with tremendous donations to the shelters where people are staying, to companies from across the globe calling, to people sending us things. It's truly amazing, the help that's coming forward. Directing it, organizing it, deploying it, setting up stations is what is underway now. And so we need the time and again that the systems put in place so that we can best move things forward, and that is happening. Of course, we all have heard here locally, we're still in recovery. There's still a lot to do. There's going to be a lot to clean up. Where a lot of the rubble goes is a big question. How we move forward with cleanup. So we really need to unite people. We also want to encourage people to watch out for people who are offering assistance, but really trying to offer assistance because they're great salespeople and encouraging us to buy all sorts of things or work with FEMA to buy their product over other products, or the county or state to do so. So there are some vendors calling from out of state who are wanting to just generously donate things. We've heard of 10 housing units being generously donated, and people working on where to put those units and how best to deploy them. We've heard of people, though, who are saying they're going to donate certain things or lease them to us, which might be very helpful on the lease side, particularly for housing units. But certain things like solar and other systems where they're trying to sell in a system. And it's not about a donation. It's about trying to use this opportunity to sell in. So we want to make sure that, we're funneling the offers to the right place, that we're getting them to the county to assess, and that we're working with FEMA as best we can. The Small Business Development Center is on the front lines. They've provided space for FEMA. Our hotels are providing space for all the critical workers that are coming in to help, like FEMA and the National Guard and Civil Defense and others. So what we're trying to do is also look urgently at housing solutions to house people who have been affected by this crisis, and temporary solutions that, of course, ongoing long-term. Our construction industry of Maui has come up with some amazing solutions to unite the industry in getting people in some temporary housing. The issue is right now timing, land, access to water, sewer, power. These are the critical issues that we were always addressing when it came to our housing situation. And now it's even more prevalent. There are many developers and housing groups coming together looking at how we can get over those humps as expeditiously as possible and make things available to people, both from the standpoint of urgent housing, maybe using some tiny homes or some things that can be put together very quickly, as well as long-term and continuing to address our housing crisis that was already a high level, but is heightened even more now from the fires and the loss of homes. We continue to share with people that the best way to right now get assistance is start with the FEMA program. Okay, FEMA has a site called FEMA.gov that is updating people on the Hawaii fires in multiple languages. But the place to start for recovery assistance is disasterassistance.gov. Okay, FEMA has grants, and then FEMA is connected with the SBA, and you'll also see links to the SBA program on disasterassistance.gov. But they want you to first and foremost go to disasterassistance.gov to see what you would qualify for grants. They will also then respond with a letter and punt you to other people. Now, I'm told somebody registered very early and already got a letter of how they could help. So disasterassistance.gov is the starting point. From there, what they'll do is see what you might qualify for in grants. What you don't qualify for in grants, they'll then punt you to the SBA programs, which has a housing assistance loan program, an equipment assistance loan program, and a business assistance loan program. And those are, in fact, loan programs. But they'll start with a grant and then start working their way down to other help that's available. So also on ready.gov, READY.gov, they have recovering from disaster, wildfires, and helping children cope. This is a time when people are devastated. And just imagine, people have lost family members, they've lost their homes, they've lost their businesses, they've lost combinations of all three, they're still actively searching for pets, they're wondering if friends and family are alive but haven't been found. So our mental state during this time can also be severely damaged. And so we want to make sure that we're helping those. There are response people on the ground who will help in crisis intervention and counseling. So there are great services already coming forward. But we want everybody to know that, if you're in stress, reach out. Reach out, get resources. Go to ready.gov. There's some resources there. Reach out to the county and let them know you need help. Reach out to mauichamber.com. Reach out to the Small Business Development Center. All of the resources are here, mauiunitedway.com. There are so many people who are ready to help and get the word out right now and help bring the resources to you. So don't worry about just call the people that you know first and foremost, but there are resources online. But call those that you know, and everybody's standing by to help. So whether, that's our realm of where we're helping most, doesn't matter. The critical thing is that if you're in a crisis state, these are times when people can feel very lost and lose hope. If you're feeling like that, reach out to friends, family, connect, because there's a lot of hope, and we will build stronger. And there are systems in place. We just have to remember how early we are in this disaster. There's a lot of criticism going around, but there's a lot of amazing stories of lives that are being changed, of people who've lost things that are still out serving others, of people, again, in Maui, across our state, across the globe. You'll see people doing interviews. We're doing interviews to get the word out so people understand the level of devastation and the type of help we need. And right now, in some ways, we have an overabundance of certain things and still a lack of others. So we're trying to now target messages to let people know what we need most. Things like socks and underwear, men's and women's underwear, and things that can just be changed out, and toothbrushes and personal care and those kinds of things. We've got a lot of food. The good news is that we're also trying to work on refrigeration systems so we can continue to store and care for that food. We're encouraging people, to donate things that have a long shelf life. But that's still helping. And then we're reminding people that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we want to make sure that the help continues. It's going to be a long time, but we're working to try and get people out of the shelters in places. Many want to stay near their homes in Lahaina, and others are saying, well, we need support closer to services, so we're looking at all those things. At the Chamber, we have been directing and answering hundreds of calls over the last few days. We are on our website taking donations to help businesses rebuild and help to support the Oluwalu Fire Station that West Maui Taxpayers Association has been championing for a very long time. Joe Pluta of the West Maui Taxpayers Association was one of those who barely escaped and has his life, but not his home. He is working to reestablish his business, but that was also damaged. And we are helping him champion the fundraising for the Oluwalu Fire Station, which, again, we've known was desperately needed, and this highlights that. So we're doing that at mauichamber.com and working with partners on the mainland. But there are many other resources for donations, and you can find those on our website, as well as others. Hawaii Community Foundation, Maui United Way, Red Cross, Salvation Army, and so many more. Check, though, to make sure that you're contributing and encouraging friends and family and people calling you. Check to make sure that they're donating to reputable places and that these companies have a history of helping. We're hearing a lot of people put out stuff. I saw something the other day sent to me by a family member that this group was coming in from the mainland and said that they were boots on the ground helping at the main shelter on Maui. And they were right outside the main shelter, not explaining what shelter that they were at. how they were helping or providing anything specific. So be leery of things like that. I'm always saying, if they're helping at the shelter, you tell me which one and I'll go greet them. We want to make sure that they're reputable. So these are things that we're working on. Please know that we are, the county government and FEMA and the police department are trying to get people into Lahaina when it's safe. We're trying to get the right people into West Maui. Non-essential individuals and non-Maui residents are holding us up right now. They tried the placard program. That has been shut down at the moment. So now we're having to go back through the Civil Defense Office and ask for permission. So that's hampering things, okay? The access has returned for where residents of West Maui can continue to access through Kahakaloa. And folks providing services and delivery can enter with proper permission, but it's just another step and it takes time for a further review. We want you to know that the Humane Society estimates that there are over 3,000 lost animals, and they have a veterinarian triage station at the Lahaina Civic Center and the Pili Plaza. So they are providing medical care on site. We know Kaiser is out there providing medical care. So we're trying to centralize places where you can go and get those kinds of help. We know Hawaiian Electric has shared that 12,000 West Maui customers faced outages, and all three of the transmission lines were severely damaged. However, at the end of the day yesterday, they were targeting to restore about 80% of those impacted, not including the area of Lahaina Town. So they have brought in HECO employees from across the state, 400 employees. They're gathering to help, as well as numerous contractors. And they have shipped over 26 specialty vehicles. So they're putting more manpower. We still need more manpower to ensure that the fires are put out. Upcountry was still going and not as contained as other areas. So it's really important that all of the fires across Maui are put out. We can focus on recovery, and we continue to get more help. Our firefighters have worked tirelessly. Our police department and county officials are working tirelessly. And we want to remember that they're saying, you hear people talk about devastation. You hear people call it an apocalypse. We're seeing pictures, but they're seeing devastation at a level that's not being shown in pictures. So we want to make sure we're being respectful, we're being kind. That doesn't mean we don't ask questions that we need answers to, or want to get answers to. But it means that we recognize the work that's being put in to help our community as quickly as possible. So again, I want to remind everybody to please, first and foremost, follow the FEMA process. The things that are being posted on social media about FEMA's having you apply and going to take your land, that's not correct. We are trying to get more messages out in social media and Instagram that are accurate messages, so people don't come in a panic and are afraid to use the help that's available. Visit disasterassistance.gov, and they will get you started. That will start you first with a FEMA grant, and from there, they'll refer you to SBA programs that might be available to you. You can also go to, there's a FEMA Hawaii wildfires page, and so you can find that and make sure that you're just clicking on the right information. Okay, it's really important that you click on the right information. And also, and the Chamber is going to have links to all these resources that I'm mentioning. We're putting up links constantly on the Chamber page at mauichamber.com, like we did during COVID, to remind you of the sites that you can go to. There are many properties that did not face any physical damage, but they're going to experience economic hardship as the result of the disaster. So also, directly with the SBA for economic injury recovery, remember these, the EIDL loans, recognizing economic injury, from a disaster loan. So EIDL is Economic Injury Disaster Loan. There are types of loans that are now being offered. So if your property didn't face physical damage, but you're experiencing economic hardship as a result of the disaster, there is a link that you can go to for EIDL loans on the SBA website. So go to MauiChamber.com. We're going to have these links up and find information for businesses, all businesses, whether you're a chamber member or not. It does not matter. Call MauiChamber.com, and we are going to help you with your business needs. And it's not that we're not helping members of the community. It's just that there are so many social welfare agencies, boots on the ground, who are out and outreaching to help families and individuals. Again, you can call us at Maui Chamber too. We are here to help. But what we're trying to do is come up with a collective system so that we're helping people, as many as possible, as quickly as possible, by connecting them to the right agency and the right resources. So, please don't hesitate to call us at Maui Chamber, 244-0081. Go to, of course, 808 these days, 808-244-0081. You can go to our website, MauiChamber.com, and then go, and there you'll find many links to amazing resources. And then in addition to that, through this program, we're going to continue to update people on what is happening. And this morning, we're going to ask Lisa Paulson to join us on the show. Lisa is the executive director of the Hotel and Lodging Association. So we're going to ask Gary to connect with Lisa and get her on the line. She'll be right here to talk about what is happening within the Maui Hotel and Lodging Association and the work that they're doing. But before that, we're going to take a quick break by our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
We're back from the commercial. I wanted to introduce Lisa Paulson. She is the executive director of the Maui Hotel and Lodging Association. They provide government and community relations for the Maui County visitor industry, and she has held this position since 2012. And she is a registered lobbyist for the county and the state. Lisa is a 29-year resident and resides in Paia with her family. And she has been on the front lines with the Maui County Emergency Management Agency, involved in the planning and the work and coordination that's been done. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good morning. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. Not sure if somebody can turn up that volume button.
Gary can turn me up a little bit for you. Is this better?
Yes, please. There you go.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I know that you have been tirelessly working with the county team and in the meetings, working on ways to help. What are some of the ways that the visitor industry on Maui is responding to this tragedy?
Well, first of all, our hearts and our our love go out to everybody. The support and the overwhelming coming together is just everything Maui has always been and will be. But the hotels are housing, many of them are housing their employees that have lost everything. Yesterday, we estimated about 700 people are sheltering at our properties that have been displaced by the fires. We have also set up a ballroom in a couple of areas for respite for our hardworking firefighters. And now the hotels are shifting to providing rooms for FEMA, which is hundreds and hundreds of rooms. It's not just a small block. They're here in force. And then there are rooms that are being prepped and ready, and we are getting displaced residents into those rooms this week per governor's order.
And I know that there's been talk of like 2,000 rooms. Is that still what we're looking at? Is that all?
Yeah. And a lot of those, again, are for our government agencies that are here to help us, FEMA, military, FBI. But the majority are for our displaced residents. And, we are also very heavily working with a lot of other agencies to find permanent housing. There's a website that went up today that, for people to find temporary permanent, if that makes sense, throughout the state. Yeah.
Is that the one through Airbnb and that partnership?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have that link by any chance?
You know what? I can find it in some of the mini press releases I have found. We have a resource on we have a resource page on our website. Let me see if I have it there, but we can continue talking while I look for that.
Yeah, that would be great. We're just trying to get stuff out on radio as well to help. And you've been in the room. You've been there working with the county emergency response teams. Tell us some of the bigger challenges to overcome and some of the bright spots.
Yeah, the initial challenge is that we're small but mighty, and we had to reach out and get the resources here, and as everybody knows, we're an island state, and so it's not like people can drive across state lines and just hop in a supply truck and get things here. So there is that challenge initially, but now we are fully engaged. And I will tell you, when the FEMA director walked in the room the other day and said, "We're here to help," there was a collective sigh and tears, and a lot of tears. So, they're experts in what they do. And I think if I can say anything on the radio, is that we have experts that are here. And I know people want to help, but I would just highly recommend they engage with the experts because they've been in these situations before.
Yeah, they've done this many locations, many times, seen the worst of the worst, and have a systems approach to how to make things happen and get things done expeditiously, and federal resources to get ththings done and expeditiously.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I know at one time, I got to talk to you just after you had a brief break and a little bit of sleep, and I know that things have been going fast and furiously to get things moving. Well, I did a message this morning about encouraging people who are non-essential, non-residents, who don't need to be going to Lahaina to please stop, because they're really deterring efforts when we're trying to put in systems like placards and things that would help those who really need to get through. What are some of the things that you've been hearing along those lines where we really need to encourage people to stop?
Yeah, we would hope that good behavior would prevail, right?
Yeah.
But we know that these situations create a lot of fear and anger and mistrust. And then also there are opportunists out there, unfortunately. And some things happen, and, a few ruined it for the many. When we opened up the road and had egress for everybody without a checkpoint, there were people that came in and were not doing, they were doing nefarious activities. And so they had to close the road down again and put the checkpoint up. And the same thing with the placard thing. It was supposed to be for residents and hotel workers only, and a few ruined it for the many. So we're trying to stand up things and make egress easy, but we're being blocked by, again, just actions of the few. And we just are trying to support, keep those areas barricaded. I know a lot of people don't understand why, but we have forensic teams on the ground, and we have to allow them the time to process areas so that we can locate our loved ones. And we're just asking people very nicely, please, just give them the time so that families could have closure. that's the most important thing right now. And I know people think that that's maybe not true and we're just keeping it closed off, but there hazmat, there's remains, and we're just begging people, please be respectful of authority.
Yeah. And I've heard stories where, again, because of the remains, there's processing that has to happen. And it takes time. And people just don't understand that. And I've told even if there's a phone there, we're not able to disturb anything. So if somebody's calling for a loved one, and the phone is right there, they have to protect the scene as it is. And so there's a lot of people looking. There are places also, though, that, there is sites that you can go to check on loved ones and people who are in need. And I'm going to look that up again while I look. Were you able to find anything on the temporary housing?
My team is texting me, so hold on. Let me put you on speakerphone.
Sure, no worries. We're all, just as Lisa's looking that up, this is another thing that we're doing, is there's so many new things now that with FEMA on board, with systems getting put in place, we're emerging in a new realm where new data is coming out. So we're also all working really hard to get all these sites out and get things up so that we can share them with you and make sure that you have what you need.
Yeah, Pam, I have that link.
Oh, good.
You can hear me. I'm on speakerphone. Yeah. Okay. It is through DBED.
Okay.
So it's ebedt.hawaii.gov /HHFDC / sorry.
FHHF, is it D as in dog, C?
C as in cat, / yeah.
Okay, /. So I have dbed.hawaii.gov / H as in horse, Frank, Delta, elephant, /.
Frank, Frank DC, like cat, right? You got that?
I've got, you got, is it Frank D like dog, C like cat?
Yeah.
Okay. HHFD like dog, C like cat. Yes. Okay. So for those who are looking for temporary shelter, those who have been displaced by the fires, who are looking for temporary shelter and temporary housing, this is a link for you. We are not looking to have a bunch of people who have been displaced other ways, and we're sorry. We know that we've got a housing crisis, but this is for those who have been through a horror that we can't imagine, that have been displaced by fires. This is our government working on systems to try and rent available units as best they can across Maui to get people out of shelters and into temporary units. Lisa, I also understand that the many of the hotels have also been on the front lines providing personal care items and making other donations to help out the shelters and those in Lahaina.
Yeah, everybody has come out full force.
Yeah.
I will say that initially there was, I think the biggest struggle and hardships was we had no communications, no landlines, no internet,
Right.
no power, no cell phones. And so most of the communication was going out back and forth Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday by satellite phone only.
Yes.
And the things that I heard that our executives and hotel employees were doing to assist while, we were struggling to get them information and to assist them, it was so heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time because they had no idea the severity of the disaster.
Yeah.
Because they were so cut off from communication. And, we're very thankful that electricity is back and that we've got mobile cell towers everywhere, and grateful for everybody that made that happen. But there were a few days there where that whole area was completely cut off from the world, basically.
It was, I had several people that we were desperately trying to find, and of course they were serving. They were doing everything they could to serve, but they would use the fuel in their cars to get them to places where they could make a call. They were trying to text people and not call. So in the early phases, we would have somebody just say, "I'm alive, I'm here." And then we were being respectful to say, okay, we know why they're saying that, not more, because they weren't supposed to be using their phones. And then when their gas had run out of their car, they were hiking to places.
Yes.
Just
and
to try and communicate.
Beautiful partners like Trilogy, who right from the get-go were picking people up, bringing them into Maui Harbor, and then bringing the boat back with supplies. And there are stories. There are many, many stories that we will hear as time goes, but people who just jumped in right away to help our community.
It really, across the board, if you haven't heard a lot of stories, just amazing, heroic efforts. And I also want to not only say amazing, heroic efforts by those who are helping out, but just sometimes the efforts that people had to take to survive getting their families out was unbelievable. And these things will be coming forth and we'll be hearing more. But we have a lot to be proud of. When we talk about Maui Strong, and we talk about the Aloha Spirit, and we talk about people who are being pono and doing the right thing, we have so many reasons to be very proud of our community.
Yes, we do. And always, we are one ohana here in Maui. We always have been. And we will get through this. It's going to take a long time. I keep hearing everybody say this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And mental care is also very important right now to Pam. I'm worried about our frontline workers.
Yeah.
There's got to be time to sleep, and to walk away, because I'm worried about burnout, and I'm starting to see those that have reacted right away and have been helping for over a week now. They need our support and our love, and they also need to hear the words, "It's okay. It's okay to take a break.
Yeah.
It's okay."
I agree. I advocated early on, and still am hoping again that I know they brought in more firefighters from across the state and more.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that as we bring more people in, and that our amazing first responders, all of our amazing first responders, our firefighters, our police, everybody, our EMTs, and everybody on the front line, that they're, as you say, that we're getting them the rest they need, because it's been relentless.
Yeah.
It really has been relentless, and we're, unfortunately, we're still putting out hot spots. So, and we're still in a very hot time in summer. So this is still a very scary time. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Is there any final message that you'd like to give today? I know we'll have you back on the show again as we continue to give updates. But any message or announcement that you'd like to share?
I just want to share that we're here to support the residents and our associates. We're working very closely with FEMA and other leaders at the state, and we will do everything possible to assist right now and then moving forward. So I think, and we join with the chamber and all the other organizations out there just to say we're wrapping our arms around you as a community, and we're here to help.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know it's been a very long and tireless journey for you as well, but I know that you are every day coming out, as you always have been, positively working on how we can make a difference, and there throughout it all. So we're here to support you as well and appreciate all of your efforts. And thank you for everything you do. You're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, we're going to just talk for a minute about some other things going on with actually what's happening in the retail merchants industry. To hear from Tina Yamaki, I know Gary's going to give a call out to Tina while I tell you a little bit about Tina. Tina's been on the show, and she's given us retail updates for the entire time through COVID, helping us out. She has 20 years of experience with nonprofit organizations. She has a background in government affairs and community relations, innovative brand management, sales and marketing, event planning, and more. And prior to joining the Retail Merchants Association, she was the executive director of the Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association and director of business support at PBS Hawaii. So a lot of amazing connections. Of course, we all know that Lahaina Town and all of the retail, not all of the retail, but a lot of our retail was devastated. All of the retail on Front Street, for the most part, has really been devastated in a huge way. Other retail outlets were also damaged as well to varying degrees. And we wanted to ask Tina to come on and talk about the work that the Retail Merchants of Hawaii are doing to help Maui retail businesses during this disaster. Gary, do we have Tina on?
No, we don't have. I can't get through.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll let you keep trying as we're working to do that. We have businesses who, many of our businesses, everybody's trying to be respectful on being on the road and trying again to let those who need to be on the road, to services and deliveries that need to get out on the road first. So a number of our businesses haven't even seen the devastation to their business. In some cases, we're hearing that places fared better than original reports. Which has been exciting. Some of the retail spaces at the Lahaina Cannery Mall and Gateway fared better than reports that had come in. Island Grocery, even speaking to the owner, at one point everybody thought that was down, and it was a miracle that Island Grocery was able to be operational and that the generators had held and kept everything fresh, and that we just need to get more fuel out there to keep them running. So amazing things have been happening. At the Chamber, we're looking to get a sense of it, help assess. I think maybe Gary's getting Tina on.
Okay, Tina's on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gary. Tina, good morning, and thank you for joining us during this really tragic time. We really appreciate you here to give us an update on what Retail Merchants of Hawaii is doing to help Maui retail businesses.
It's very sad and tragic what happens. I think we're all still in shock, and it's not just us here in Hawaii, but worldwide as well. I think for a lot of us, we all have memories of Lahaina, and, we all had our favorite stores and our favorite stories to tell. We lost a lot of members, and a lot of retailers have lost their businesses. Banks have also lost branches, and it's just very tragic. Our industry has really come together. We've seen a lot of outpouring of donations. People are, rounding up when you go to the store to buy things. They're collecting, when you go shopping, you can donate baby formula, diapers, food, clothing, and, our companies will ship it over. So we're trying to do the best that we can. we've also been in contact with Maui County and with Haima to offer our support and let us know what is needed for the people of Maui.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, some of our folks haven't even had a chance to, being respectful of what's happening with the roads being closed and only letting in, essential services as well as residents returning. We're all being very sensitive to the rebuilding and often relying on pictures of what the buildings look like and what's happened, or stories we hear in the area coming out. Many haven't even seen their facilities yet. How many, do you have a sense of how many of the businesses that have lost their business were members of the retail merchants of Hawaii?
It is a good tip. We haven't figured out exactly because we're here, because I'm not on the ground. So
Yeah.
a lot of it is assumption or hearsay. We haven't been in touch with some of the businesses, and we get it. We're not a priority. Their priority right now is to take care of their workers.
Yes.
And like you said, a lot of them haven't even gone into their businesses to see how bad the damage is. Is it burnt to the ground? Is it partially standing? Some of them don't know. And then there's also this thing, like a lot of families on Maui, where you don't know if that person, where that person is. There's a lot of unaccounted for people who are our employees that, they're still going out to the shelters looking. And, we're so appreciative to the families on Maui that opened up their home to just, strangers, just to give them shelter from this fire and all of this that happened. That a lot of times we all know there's no phone service over there and texting is very spotty. So it's going out and finding these people. And I think that's what they concentrated on a lot this weekend and yesterday as well. But we did find out that the best thing to
we're seeing they're saying 80% of the power is going to be returned, and they've got some satellites out there now. So we've got some Starlink systems out there that are helping. So thankfully communications are going to start really improving, and we should be hearing more. So, it's very true. There is, it's just a tragic time where we're trying to, as you say, find those that we're not hearing from, and still doing that. And there's a long list that we're helping people kind of navigate through. So, yeah.
And like everybody else, we're hoping and praying for that they are somewhere.
Same, expecting everybody to reach out to their insurance carriers first, and then file through FEMA.
And I think everybody right now is in the assessment process.
Yeah.
And like you just, and like you mentioned before, a lot of them haven't even gone for this yet, so they don't even know the extent of the damage is.
Those impacted, and those are the shelters and assessing. So soon we'll know more data, and the coordination is getting much better. We've got insurance carriers and others who are trying to get tents on the ground so that out in West Maui, so that they can do the intake for those insurance claims as well. So we're trying to get people out there to do that this week as well, as systems are improving, and we can find ways to get a few companies in that can meet the needs of a lot of people. Well, we appreciate knowing that. Is the Retail Merchants Association encouraging some of their members to do the roundup? Are the members doing that on their own?
Everybody is doing what they can. We noticed there is a lot of roundups that have started. We've also had we've seen where there's like donation boxes or pallets where you can drop off things at these places. A lot of our members do have facilities on Maui and on the neighbor island. So, they are barking things over a lot of times too. But they are really trying to right now take care of their employees as well, and also to try and take care of as many residents as they can.
Yeah. It really is going to be all hands on deck for for quite some time. Yeah, we appreciate that. Well, we want to thank you for all that you're doing. I know that it's hard to be on Oahu and not be able to be here on the ground supporting people. They do know that they are getting a lot of support, as you pointed out, from those near and far, and of course, a lot of great support here in our local community as well. But we just want to thank you for all that you do to support our retail merchants. And, for those who have been retailers in Lahaina for a very long time, this is going to be a very long recovery. So in the Chamber, we're working to continue to look at other solutions and how we can continue to help them navigate through this process as quickly as possible and get established in other locations where they can continue to move forward.
And the best thing is we all know Maui is strong, and everybody in Hawaii comes together during tragedies, unlike, some of the other states. So the good news is Maui knows that you have the support of everybody.
Yeah, that's very true. And we so appreciate you and others across our state being there for us as well. It means the world to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us on this show, and thank you for all the great work that you're doing.
Same here.
Let's
Take care, everybody.
Take care, Tina. I'll talk to you. We'll have you on the show again soon.
Okay. Aloha.
Aloha. Well, we just today want to kind of wrap this show up with letting people know that, again, we've got a lot of wonderful things happening and a lot of great people coming together. We just want to encourage everybody, do the right thing, follow the instructions, be pono, understand what those who have gone through this tremendous devastation are going through and the help that they need. Pay attention to the right information sources, ask questions of the right people, give a grain of salt to some of these things that are a little out there on social media, but call the agencies to give you the right answers. I know there's many agencies to help. I want to thank you all for listening today to Business Matters. I'm Pamela Chopov, President of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and you can always call us at Maui Chamber at 244-0081. We're here to serve and help. Blessings and aloha.